Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Idaho Business Podcast. We are here together with Jarrod Brownsberger. This guy is a licensed physical therapist with advanced home health and hospice. He's been with them for over 4 years now. He's been in the United States for over, I think you said 9 years.
Correct. Yep.
He's from Australia, Brisbane, Australia, correct?
Correct. Yep, that's right.
And he's been in Idaho, the best state of all the states, for all those 9 years. So, we got to give him kudos for that. So, thanks, Jarrod, for being on the show with us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about, your journey over here. What brought you here, and let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay. So I graduated with a Doctor of Physical Therapy in Melbourne, Australia, in 2016. And then my wife's actually from Pocatello. So we decided to move here and have kids, and her mum lives in Pocatello. So I immigrated here and had a green card, and now it took a couple of years, and now I'm a American citizen as well. So, yeah.
We always appreciate, especially the legal way of going through. It's a harder way, obviously, but we always appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was. Being married to an American, it wasn't a difficult process, but yeah. And then I got licensed here in the States about 2017 for physical therapy. So been practicing for about 6 or 7 years now.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, now you're in Idaho. How do you find Idaho compared to Australia?
Huge that's a great question. Yeah, like where I grew up in the middle of like winter, it didn't get below like 50 degrees. So yeah, the winters here are a little bit different. And initially, the first couple of years were tough, but I snowboard, I mountain bike, I hike, very outdoorsy. So I love it. Like I can like paddleboard down Snake River and not see anyone. So I really like the small town feel of it. I really love Pocatello, actually. Yeah.
You do all the activities that you end up repairing other people for.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And myself too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I think this is a good segue into, as being a physical therapist, you see, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm sure you work with children, you work with, the elderly, you work with, probably even some business professionals.
Absolutely. Yep.
How important is it to not neglect your body as you continue on through life?
Oh, it is super important, particularly as we age. Like I'm 38 now, and I really have to, like when you're 20, you can get up and just, go surfing for 8 hours and you're fine. But now I have to get up and stretch and like do core strengthening just to kind of get through the day. So yeah, as we age, super important. Nutrition and exercise will keep us, healthy longer. So yeah, and doing all the things that we want to do. Like I play softball, snowboard, mountain bike, pretty physically demanding sports. And yeah, I have to look after my body to be able to do that.
I've read some stuff, I've listened to some stuff, I've watched some stuff, but it's all about if you don't use it, you lose it. As you get older, if you're not doing physical activity, maybe some resistant training, your actual bone density is smaller, right? As you get older.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we encourage mostly geriatrics, mostly women too, like postmenopausal, to do some strength training, whether it's resistance, body weight, to increase bone density. Absolutely. Because your body, it adjusts to like the demands, put on it. So it kind of adjusts accordingly. Yep.
Sure. And then, as you probably worked with countless different patients over the years, as they first come into your office or you're coming to their homes, I guess at this point,
yep.
You're seeing them in their worst states, and they're probably, a lot of them are not motivated. And they're not looking forward to what's to come.
Yep.
But let's talk about that. How that journey goes from where they start, where they begin, where they end, even when it comes to motivation and overall perspective.
Yeah. So, I mean, I predominantly see post joint replacements, but we also see like Parkinson's patients and other, just general ailments. But
where people come in, they're deflated, after an injury or something like that, or maybe even they've neglected their body for so long, and then they're like, okay, I got it. Something's happened now, and now I'm seeing a physical therapist for this problem.
Yeah. So obviously, I get them in that vulnerable state. They're down, understandably, like I've been there as well. And, building a good rapport and educating them, and then getting from that vulnerable kind of state of, this isn't going to get better, to watching them, get back into the whatever sport or even just walking or whatever it may be. Super rewarding for them and for me. So I love what I do, and it's fun to be a part of that journey.
Yeah.
With patients.
Would you say that overall people that, keep themselves in a certain level of fitness are more motivated and
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's plenty of studies. Exercise, increases endorphins, which makes you feel better. Increases serotonin, again, makes you feel better. So huge. I mean, the upside of exercise is, it's unbelievable. Like if you can exercise, you're going to be better at, cognitively, more motivated in general, and you can be, a better business professional, and just feel better, I guess, in general. And I think people really pick up on that. So, yeah.
I agree. I think from personal experience, I've over years, I've done the roller coaster and yo-yo diets and stuff like that I've gotten healthy. I've gotten not healthy. And when I'm not healthy, I don't feel like, getting up early. I don't feel like accomplishing what I need to accomplish during the day with my business. And I honestly, if I could look from year to year, the years that I'm healthy and when years I'm not, I guarantee I could show some cause and correlation to even matching up with revenue and profitability with my company.
Wow. Absolutely. Yeah. That makes sense.
Because of the overall, how much motivation, how much I'm carrying. And I think that goes across the board with people. So when it comes to that, what if, say you're talking to people that are leading companies or owning companies now, and what would you say to the person that's like, I've never lifted weights, I've never really been active, but I'm not. Maybe I am really out of shape or overweight, or maybe I'm just never been active, and I'm just kind of that skinny medium build, and I'm just. But what would you say to them to keep them going in their profession and enhance what they're doing as a business professional?
Enhance what they're doing.
Simple things they could be doing.
Yeah, to improve longevity and health. Absolutely. I mean, you have to. For me, and I've come across this quite a lot, mainly with the kids of geriatrics that I've been treating. They ask me for advice, and some of them are in business. But it really depends. It's individualistic. But I would always just start with walking. I know that sounds really simple, but I mean the benefits from just increasing your heart rate, and overall motion is lotion. So if you can, walk, even if it's like 20, 30 minutes a day, your joints are going to feel better. Your back's going to feel better. It does for me personally, and help with a bit of weight loss and things like that. So that would be my number one, is walking. And then two, as I age, I have to do, stretches. I do some yoga movements just to kind of keep limber and stretch mostly my back out. I have some issues with that. And if I don't do it, life is just, I get down, and I'm not, performing at my kind of peak. And patients really pick up on that as well. Like if you're tired and you're hurting. So, and also, practice what I preach. So, trying to do, those movements, walking, staying as active as I can, but definitely stretching as we get older, super important, keeping limber. And that'll keep us going for longer.
I like it. I know you're, a physical therapist and you talk about movement, but, I would like to throw in there too. I know right now it's so easy to go to the stores and, get a big gulp of soda all the time. People probably drink more soda than water, but
it's amazing.
How much nicer is it? I try to drink a gallon of water a day, and I'm a big dude.
Nice.
But I'll tell you what, when I am getting my water intake and drinking more water than I do soda, and even when it comes down to, like, I love my sparkling waters,
Yeah.
I feel more energized. I feel less lethargic than when I just drink diet soda or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it too, to implement on top of their walking. If it's just those two things, I think that would make a huge benefit in their lives.
Absolutely. I mean, that even if it's like 1 or 5% improvement in their physical health, that's going to, kind of follow on to, business and things like that. So definitely, if you can cut out even just one every other day, or, just kind of cut down a little bit, increase walking, stretching, over time, you'll notice a big difference. And it's very subtle, but like if you look back 6 months ago and you've implemented those things, then, things are going to improve, I think, holistically, like what you're saying, with how you feel, and then how that kind of follows on with your revenue and things like that. So it's a big part of business and just overall health too.
No, I agree. And then, as you make those small changes, like you're saying, people, they start to see, oh, maybe my waistline's going down a little bit, or I am feeling stronger and my joints don't hurt as bad because I am walking, I'm strengthening them up, I'm drinking more waters and getting less sodium and all that stuff in my system to cause those flare-ups. And it gives you more confidence. You start to see, wow, my clothes are fitting better. I just feel generally better. Like you said, the endorphins are releasing. Just things, you sleep better. Everything just turns out to be better. And that
absolutely
literally goes hand in hand with becoming a better business leader, a better business professional. So
absolutely, for sure. I couldn't agree more.
Cool. Well, I love it. Would there be, like, is there any, like, you say you get up in the morning, you do some certain stretches. Are there any go-to stretches that you do that you really like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's individualistic, but for me, I really have to stretch my hamstrings because my job, I work with kids, so I'm like constantly kind of bent, or I try and use my quads as much as I can to try and maintain that good posture. But my hamstrings just always get tight. So that's a go-to stretch for me. And like within 20 to 30 seconds on each side stretching, my back releases and it feels so much better. And then I do a couple of sun salutations, and I'll do those throughout the day too if I'm feeling a little bit like kind of tired. And it just kind of re-energizes me, like versus like having a coffee or some type of energy drink. If you do like a couple of sun salutations, which is, basically just stretching, touching your toes, kind of going into like a bit of a lunge, and those types of movements, it like re-energizes me for a few hours. So
that's great to know.
And and I'm sitting a lot, and I know a lot of people, they're in sedentary jobs, so doing those types of movements, even if it's just once in the afternoon when you kind of hit that lull, post lunch, you can, it really energizes me and keeps me going for the rest of the day. So yeah, keeping moving as much as you can be super helpful. Yeah, that's what I do anyway. It works for me.
I like it. What's your opinion on the desks that stand up, and then also the balls, the little yoga balls they sit on while they work on their desk? What's your opinion on all that?
I think it's great. I mean, honestly, like the standing desks, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you use them or not.
I have not, but I've heard good things.
Yeah. Just because, I mean, anatomically, when you sit for long periods, I mean, your posture kind of goes a little bit, and you can put more, particularly like on your back, like your discs. When you sit, they take all the pressure, but when you stand, the pressure gets dispersed to what we call facet joints, which are like other parts of the spine. So there's a little bit better dispersion of like pressure through your spine when you're standing. So yeah, standing and sitting throughout the day is super helpful anatomically, and also kind of keeps you awake too, I think, for some people. Yep. So highly recommend the standing desk. The yoga balls, it'll improve your core activation throughout the day. So that can be helpful too, and your posture. So
cool. Like I said, just those small changes. If you don't have to do huge things, you don't have to go and just pump weights for 2 hours every morning. You can just do those small things to help you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I recently read a book called Atomic Habits, and it just talks about those. I don't know if you've read it, just those subtle changes.
It's been a while, but it's a good one.
Yeah. So that 1 to 5%, every day builds up over time. So. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, cool, man. I really appreciate you coming on. And in closing, we might as well bring you through we always call it the lightning round. And I forgot to mention when we started this, but I always forget sometimes. Our sponsors are Health West. These guys are a great organization.
They're awesome.
They're throughout all of Idaho and even outside of Idaho a little bit. So if you're listening and you want to give them a try, Google where they're closest to you and bring some, your friends and family over there and give them a try. We're also sponsored by my company, New Clean Commercial Cleaning. If you need any janitorial needs, give us a holler at 208-254-7070. And you tell us that you heard about us on the podcast. We will give you some type of office disinfection absolutely for free. Great. Okay. I got 3 questions as we end here, Jarrod.
Okay. Yeah.
What's maybe the best book that you've read, or you can also answer it with a tool or a software you use, and why is it so great?
Oh, that's a tough question. Wow. The best book I've ever read. Oh, I've read quite a few. Sorry, I'm having to go through the catalog in my head.
You just mentioned the Atomic Habits, and I know
it was good. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I had to put it down and pick it up. It was good. It was super helpful. Are we talking? I mean, I really love like historical fiction. Actually,
sometimes you got to take your mind off business to be more active in business. I get that. So I read novels and stuff too sometimes.
Absolutely. I really love Ken Follett. His books are phenomenal, particularly like Pillars of the Earth. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but it's kind of like mid-century. Well, it's like around 800 AD in England. And just kind of a really cool story and develops characters really well. So I love those kind of books. Yeah, it takes my mind off things, and it kind of, I guess it helps with perspective of like how lucky we are today versus, way back in the Middle Ages. Like it was, unbelievable back then. So, but those are probably some of the best books I've ever read.
Sure. That's awesome. Okay. We talked about, business owners and stuff like that and what motivates them. and I ask this to a lot of people, but do you have maybe a business? We always ask, what's the biggest myth that business owners need to know the truth about, or business leaders? And it could even be what we talked about, the physical demands of what you need to be doing and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, the biggest myth. That's a great question as well. I don't know. The fact, I mean, I think it's pretty, I don't know if it's a myth. I mean, everyone knows, you should try and stay as active as you can to be a better leader, I think, overall.
Especially with the pandemic we just went through and everything else. It's been proven. You keep yourself more physically fit and you get overall more healthy. So
preventative medicine for sure.
Yep. Okay. What's one question I should have asked that I did not?
We kind of hit everything, I think. Maybe like what's culturally or what's different between like physical therapy in Australia versus I know it's not super business related, but so we don't really use physical therapy assistants. That's a big difference there. It's all physical therapists, and I guess mainly we kind of work more with our hands, like a lot more manual therapy. But yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Well, again, Jarrod, thank you for being on the show with us. Those that are listening and they're thinking, hey, Jarrod's got some good points here. And he is with Advanced Home Health. What's the best way to get a hold of you guys for those people that are needing some assistance right now?
Yeah. So probably just Googling us, Advanced Home Health. And then, just giving our office a call and just seeing, mainly it's, I mean, as I say, we see a lot of joint replacements, a lot of like neurological rehab, and then also lots of geriatrics and kids as well. So, if you just want to give us a Google and give us a call, if you feel like, you need some home health, I'll be happy to come and help you guys on your journey of recovery and try and help you get through, whatever is kind of you're suffering from. So, yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate it. And as always, we always like to sign off with, find opportunity, find opportunities just to be happy, be grateful, and find opportunities to serve others around you. So that's one thing we always like to say. So
absolutely. Again, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So until next time, everyone, we'll have a great week. Go out there and accomplish some big things and just try to move the needle. And thanks again, Jarrod.
No worries. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.